Alrighty, we're 3 minutes in. We got about 30 people, so I think we'll get this going. And I'm busting out this handy dandy gavel that I inherited at the beginning of the year. I believe Mr. Dave purchased it in 2000.
Yeah,
the year 2000 he purchased it, so it's an antique, an heirloom, and I'm gonna use it real quick to get this meeting going. Last time I get to use it, so I'm gonna shed a tear real quick. So welcome to the business meeting for 2020. And if you didn't get the memo, it's also my birthday party. Yay, it's my birthday.
You can finally legally drink.
Your birthday.
I can legally, yes, I am that young. Let's go with that, Sean. Thank you. So the agenda for today, we figured we'd start out with something fun, a first round of trivia, and then we'll have a quick announcement for the Tellers Committee, which Josh Smith, he is very grateful, very, very grateful for him. He agreed to be my teller for this election. Then Chad will go and do his secretary and treasurer report, and then go over the budget we have proposed for next year. I will have very quick announcements, since that will be my last time I get to address the group, before we go into the election results, which I know everyone is anxious to hear who won. I will conduct the swearing in of the new officers, and then we'll do 3 more rounds of trivia before any final announcements, who all is hiring, all that good stuff.
Did you say swearing at or swearing in?
Swearing in.
Okay.
Trivia. Okay, so here we go. Not yet, but here's the breakdown. I really quickly wanted to thank the people that put together all the questions. Chad did like 90% of the work. Mr. Steven with BGE, he helped also. And then I trickled in some extra questions in there. So just keep it in mind, if there's a question you really hate that comes up, this was on volunteer time. And, we did our best. So these are all trivia questions that we came up. We try to do a little mix of our traditional traffic bowl, but didn't want to go into messing with all that technology and trying to do it virtually. So we figured trivia would be fun for the group. So as I mentioned, we're going to have 4 rounds. They each have 10 to 15 questions, and each winner will receive a $50 e-gift card. So if you are the winner, we will communicate with you after the meeting and use the email you provided during registration. If for some reason you want to use a different one, just type in the email you want us to contact you in the chat box. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Chad because he's leading this, and there's a couple things to keep in mind before we get started. So quick announcement. If you still need to vote and you are a paid member that is associated with the Dallas section, please email Josh Smith at his work email. Do not put in the chat everyone who you select. So you had to vote for the vice president, which Chad Ostrander with BGE is listed. He's unopposed. And then secretary treasurer, we have Brian Shusky with the city of Plano and Rama Denikonda with the city of Richardson. So if you can do that, and maybe if you can do that in the next 5 minutes, that would be fantastic. So Josh can confirm your membership and get that tallied up. before we do the results. And then now we're going to go to Secretary Treasurer report and then discuss the budget. Chad?
As Secretary Treasurer, I am proud to give my very first Secretary Treasurer report of the year. And also last. So in our general account, we have $4,296.27. And then in our scholarship account, we have $8,662.23. A lot of that scholarship account is holdover from money that we collected during the golf tournament that the companies just selected that they would like to hold that money over till we do the 2021 golf tournament. So that's why that scholarship account is so high. And that's reflected in the budget that I show. So our budget, looking at this year's totals, very out of whack because of the situation. A lot of costs came in that we did not budget for, but there were also a lot of costs that we did budget for that we did not have to pay for. The biggest thing was that we had to split the cost of a Zoom account with the Fort Worth section. And so you can see that in the expenses for the $1,604.26. But end of the year, we still ended up about $164 up on the year. We also had, so going into the 2021 proposed budget, we accounted for a little bit of virtual meetings and then anticipating at some point coming back to being able to do a live meeting sometime middle of the year. In that proposed budget, during the March meeting, we collected $940 from people on PayPal. We offered these people refunds if they reached out to us. Otherwise, we would hold it till next meeting. And so we've got the list of who all has that credit. And so for the first live meeting that we have, those members will all have a credit and will not need to pay if they're part of that $940. So income, we matched the lunch meeting catering with that $7,500, assuming that will be equal. We have 3% of that is normally taken out as a fee by either PayPal or Square. That's just the cost of taking money in over the internet. Then, of course, our constant contact is pretty much always the same. That's what we use to email everybody. I've budgeted for the joint meeting. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. Hopefully it will happen though. We've given a budget to the Younger Members Committee this year. That way, if we do get back to being able to meet in person, they have a budget that they can start doing events and getting people together to socialize. Then we've allowed for $300 in meeting budget and door prizes, and then of course we're donating to Future Cities again. Going into the miscellaneous, we've increased the cost of the PO box. The USPS has raised that price again this year, so we've increased that, and then we've also increased the amount that we need to pay for the officer plaques, because this year we have to get 4 officer plaques because we've been falling behind. We still have not got Josh Lee his officer plaque.
Sorry, Josh.
So we've got 4 officer plaques that we need to get this year, so we've budgeted $200 for that. Are there any questions on the budget?
For the general account.
Hearing none, moving down to the scholarship account. This year, we're anticipating, again, the same that we budgeted last year, $15,000. However, $4,700 of that we've already collected, and it's just holdover for companies that have requested that. And then the other $10,300 we're anticipating being able to raise when we do our scholarship tournament this year at some point. Any questions on that? Hearing none, can I get a motion from somebody to approve the budget
Make a motion.
here? And can we get a second?
Second.
Pam, did you get those?
Yes, I got the names. So
Okay.
motion.
So
has been-
hearing a motion in a second, can we hear all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the budget has passed. Thank you.
Thanks, Chad. All right. So my quick announcements. I wanted to say a quick thank you to all these wonderful groups, especially the section officers. We got Joe, Chad, Matt, and David. They were amazing this year. This year was very interesting, to say the least, and without their support and advice, I don't know how we would have been able to quickly react and be able to accommodate the members virtually. So thank you so much for your support and everything throughout, oh gosh, three years that we've been doing this. Matt, we're going to miss you next year. I know after today, you're officially done with all your section duties. So thank you so much for serving these past 4 years, Matt. Thank you to the committee chairs and volunteers. We have all these wonderful people helping us in the back end. Lucy's on, and I know Anna and Karina were super helpful during the virtual meeting, and we really couldn't do all of our great events without these people. Lucy's always every month uploading everything on our website. She's wonderful to work with. I recently learned Mallory is on maternity leave, so she is probably not on the meeting, but wanted to send her huge congratulations and wanted to share the wonderful news with everyone. I know there's a lot of people on here that helped me with the virtual meeting for TechSite, so thank you so much for that effort. It was huge, different task that we had to undertake. Originally, we were thinking it would be in Denton in person, but I'm hoping a lot of you will be able to come back in 2022 and help out for that meeting in the future. So thank you so much for your effort and your time to help me with that. And of course, the membership. I know it's been very different to meet virtually, but we want to thank you for sticking with us and shedding a light through this difficult time. So thank you. And I know we likely will continue virtual meetings the first couple of months next year. So definitely have patience with us. We're all anxious to get together in person, but we likely will not for the first couple of months. But thank you so much for everything. And if there's if you ever have any ideas of how we can improve or suggestions, we definitely want to hear from you. So thank you, everyone.
I think we need a round of applause for Pam for being the local arrangements chair and president at the same time in such a challenging meeting she was able to pull off. So great job, Pam.
Thank you, David.
Great job, Pam.
Good job, Pam.
Lizzie. Yay.
Golf clap.
Thank you, everyone. All right, so here we are. 2021 officer election results and the swearing in. So who's gonna be 2021 officers? So we have Joe for president, Chad for vice president, Mr. Brian or Rama for secretary treasurer, and Mr. David will continue his second year as section representative. So Josh, Are we ready? Josh Smith. Is he still on?
I hope so.
I hope so.
There we go. I was muted.
Okay.
Thanks, Pam. I'll second what everybody else said. It's been a terrific year, and I've been involved with ITE here and in Washington, D.C. for over 20 years, and I've never known anybody who took on the annual meeting chair the same year they were section president. That's two huge responsibilities, and she did a wonderful job with the pandemic on top of it, throwing out the whole playbook. Usually if you haven't been involved in volunteering for an annual meeting before, or I say annual meeting, it's our semi-annual meeting here, but just a huge effort. But there's a playbook set up, and the playbook went out the window this year. All the experience that have been learned from past years' officers. Pam had to reinvent everything on the fly, and I know there were a lot of people helping her, but just great job. Our officers, you see here on the screen, and we thank everybody for running in the election. We had two great candidates for secretary treasurer, but our result, the winner is Brian Shusky from City of Plano. So congratulations, Brian. And thank you, Rama, for being willing to run and serve the section. And congratulations also to David and Joseph and Chad, who will continue in the roles listed here.
Congratulations, Brian.
Congratulations.
Give everyone a round of thank you. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you, Josh, for looking at the results and taking care of that. So appreciate your help. So if everyone can please turn off your camera if you're not Joe, Chad, Brian, David, because we're going to do the swearing in real quick. So I have my handy dandy questions I will need to ask. So there's 4 questions, and the new officers will say "I will" after each one, and then I will have a question for all members, so you will get to participate at the end. So in accepting the office to which you have been elected in the Institute of Transportation Engineers, will you discharge to the best of your ability all of the duties of that office?
I will.
Will you uphold the professional standing, honor, and dignity of the Institute at all times by example and precept?
I will.
Will you be governed by the Institute's Constitution and by the policies, rules, and procedures established by the Board of Direction?
I will.
I will.
Will you work diligently and faithfully for the advancement and betterment of the Institute and its members?
I will.
I will.
Alrighty, it is my pleasure to declare you installed into the respective offices to which you have been elected. Congratulations. And so on this originally says, will all Institute members please stand, but instead I'm going to replace it, will you unmute yourself and respond to the following statement. Having chosen these officers as your leaders for the coming year, will you carry out your obligation to support and assist them in achieving the Institute goals? Can you say
I
that?
will.
I will.
Well,
So please show your support by joining me in a round of applause for the new officers. Congratulations, guys. Yay.
I look forward to seeing Brian Shusky's reign of terror.
Yeah. Whoever said that Matt Tilkey's reign is over, yeah, that was actually incorrect.
Oh, you got 2 years before you got Brian in charge. Yeah, just to let you know.
Oh my goodness.
The word is proxy.
Oh, congratulations, Brian. Well deserved.
And Matt.
So that takes care of our traditional business meeting, and we'll have 3 more rounds of trivia, and then finally